Choosing the right university in Germany is extremely important, but it's really confusing. There are more than 400 of them and you have different types of universities with their own fancy features and rules. And let me tell you, at the start of my student journey, I also struggled with picking a university. I was afraid of making the wrong choice and ruining my entire career. But choosing a university becomes easy if you follow the steps I'm going to lay out in this video. If you're new here, my name is Max. I'm a computer science and design student in Germany, and this channel is the go-to place for everything about studying and living in Germany. So first up, I want you to know that different from other countries outside of Europe, your career in Germany doesn't depend solely on your university. Here you have the chance for a successful career regardless of university and location. Studying at a normal one will give you a good foundation. In Germany, it's way more important to look at the degree program itself. Before you start choosing a university, you should think about what you want to study in the first place. Not every degree program is the same at every university. There can be huge differences. For example, a business degree at the Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich is not the same as one at the Humboldt University Berlin. Especially popular subjects such as economics or engineering can have completely different focuses depending on the location. So you need to compare the curriculum here. For every degree program, there is a big PDF called Modulhandbuch that explains the content of it. You will see some universities offer unique courses or have a special focus. Most students in Germany actually pick the university according to their interest, instead of looking at rankings and the university name. So you should ask yourself questions like, what is the specific content of my degree program? What is the focus? Are there any professors who are well known in their field? And are there internships I need to complete? What you should also do is look at the admission requirements and figure out if your grades are good enough. In Germany, a thing called NC determines whether your grades are enough to be accepted for your dream degree program. The NC is different from university to university and from city to city. You need to keep this in mind at the beginning of your research. So for example, if you want to study artificial intelligence, you can either do that at the Technical University of Munich by enrolling in the data science course, or if you want to have more practical application and work on projects, you can study this degree at, for example, at the Technische Hochschule Ingolstadt in a course specifically dedicated to artificial intelligence. And there are many ways to your destination. A good place to start is websites like Hochschulkompass and the DAAD database. You can enter the name of the degree program and browse through the different universities where it's offered. Another important factor for many students in Germany is the city and cost of living that is associated with the location. And now a university and your student life are always tied to the city. You might spend about half a decade in the city where you are studying, so you need to make sure that you like it there. I can also imagine that a nice city can genuinely make you stay for further studies or a job. In Germany, there are cities for everything. Some are close to nature, and in big cities, you have many people around you. It really depends on your lifestyle and preferences. One thing I can tell you, in every city and university, there will be nice people. Don't worry too much about that. It's more the environment that counts. So everyone knows Munich, but have you ever been to Aachen, for example? If not, I can recommend you find out about alternative cities. There are real gems out there in Germany. Now in smaller places, you might get more individual support at the university and everything is more personal. On the other hand, bigger cities often have better infrastructure and more opportunities because of the large number of companies and innovation hubs. I truly believe that the city also has an influence on your career. If you already know before you graduate that you want to work as an engineer in the automotive industry later on, you should look at which university offers these specializations and which potential employers you can find in the city. In the end, you have to complete internships and boost your CV by gaining practical work experience. Munich, for example, is known for tech and engineering, and Frankfurt is popular for its huge finance sector. Now in Germany, there are also special cities called Studentenstädte. These cities are characterized by the university that is located there, and usually the number of students is really high. Don't underestimate these cities, they are very student friendly. For example, in the city of Gießen, almost 50% of the population are students, and the city is surprisingly cheap. If you're working with a tighter financial plan, it's good not only to compare universities, but also look at the German cities. On this heat map, you can see the most expensive and most affordable areas in Germany. As you can see, the cost of living in Germany is very different depending on the area. The cost of living is lower in the east than in the west. For example, the rent in Duisburg is definitely cheaper than in Düsseldorf. If your budget doesn't allow for big jumps, high-priced cities like Hamburg or Munich might not be for you. But that's okay, you don't have to study in these cities. Now, the German government says that every student should calculate at least 850 euros every month for their expenses. And setting up your student life in Germany is definitely not easy. So to help you out with that, I've created a 100% free course called Germany Starter Kit. The link is in the video description. So to make the right choice, it's also good to know about the different types of universities. Classic universities, universities of applied sciences, colleges of art and music, universities of cooperative education, and theological universities. And on top of that, the universities in these 5 categories can be public or private. So the ideal scenario is that you pick your degree program first and then look at the type of university. So let me quickly break down what the differences are. The program at classic universities is usually more theoretical and you're trained to become a researcher. Some people love this theoretical foundation with its abstract concepts, but others like me find this type of study boring and want a more practical approach. So for these people, they're universities of applied sciences. At these institutions, you work on projects and real-life applications. They also have a closer connection to industries and companies. You can also enroll in distance learning universities and study there alongside your job. At the beginning of my university journey, I also had to choose between a classic university and a university of applied sciences. So far, I've experienced both and I personally prefer the practical approach more. You know, sometimes it all comes down to a gut feeling. If a particular university clicks with you on multiple levels and feels like the right fit, it's probably a good choice. You can also decide if you want to attend a private or public university. I have an entire video about that on my channel, check it out after watching this video. Now there is one question I get asked a lot when it comes to choosing universities. What about university rankings? This is well known in the US. If you studied at Yale or Harvard, basically every job in the United States is open to you. The elite universities are not only exceptionally expensive, but also exceptionally selective. In return, there is almost a career guarantee. And I don't know if they have crazy good quality, but the ranking and prestige definitely leave an impression in our heads. University rankings are helpful because they can provide an orientation for students in the beginning. But when you look at the ranking, you should also pay close attention to what led to this score. If the research is rated well, this does not necessarily mean that the teaching quality is also good. For example, the University of Mannheim in Germany has built up a crazy good reputation for its business studies department. Some recruiters will know this and suddenly you have a big plus point for your application. Even though the University of Mannheim is not even in the top 10 when it comes to German rankings. It actually turns out that the ranking of the university and whether it's private or public has barely any influence on your career. And this means that you can choose freely between the 400 different universities in Germany. We hardly have any bad universities. Of course, you can only look at the rankings and all that stuff, but let me tell you, as someone who is studying in Germany, in the end, the clout and popularity of the university are only a small piece of the puzzle. There's so much more to it. And I think for you as a person, the ranking is probably not the only thing you value. To find the right university for you, I can recommend you look at all these factors here and determine what's important to you. Don't forget to enroll in the free Germany Starter Kit course in the video description, download the free Studying in Germany Guidebook and join our huge Discord community. Love you and stay focused.